All right. So, I guess that is my little intro thing. All right. So, this video is going to be about a few things. I'm going to try to not make it long. I apologize. First, let me say, anybody that's watching this video for the first time, my name is Nick. I have been covertly recorded by the neural monitoring recording system since the late 80s, early 90s. I have been covertly physically targeted with directed energy since about 2006. And then overtly, it went from covert, there was no chatterbot, no nothing, didn't hear anything, didn't know what it was. Then it went overt, meaning I started hearing the chatterbot. I started hearing what was being subliminally iterated or spoken to me into my subconscious level. And if it's in your subconscious level, it will control you. That's the control mechanism, is the whispering to the subconscious level. So about 2015, 2016, in and around that time frame, maybe even a little bit after that, somewhere in the 2015, 2016, 2017 time frame, the chatterbot, I heard that for the first time laying in my bed upstairs with my then girlfriend. And I just remember going, what is that? Like everybody does for the first time when they're first hearing the chatterbot. What is that? What is that? What is that? Why is it not going with the TV? You're hearing this talking, whether it's human or robotic, doesn't matter. You hear this talking that doesn't go with the TV. I kept thinking, that doesn't go with the TV. What is that? Like I was staring at the TV, but hearing this ancillary talking in the background, only to find out later after phase one of my targeting, phase one of my simulation targeting. If you're new to my channel and my videos, go look at that. My video on about overt, covert simulation radiation or simulation directed energy and the differences between overt, covert simulation phases and radiation phases. If you see my board here, this will never disappear. This is the radiation phases to your death, or at minimum, the radiation phases to your inconvenience, which is going to be a inconvenient form of cancer, which will more than likely lead into your death 1 to 5 years from diagnosis and treatment of the initial phases of your cancer, or heart problems or stroke or whatever, deterioration of your physical anatomy. So these are the phases here: phase one, phase two, phase three. I am currently mostly in phase three of targeting with the directed energy. We call it radiation phases, directed energy phases. Phase three for me is 5 to 20 microteslas above the background radiation level. And when I say above background, I mean this. This is the background. That is background energy right there, background levels. So anywhere from 45 to 50 microteslas on average is going to be your background level. So when you go like this, or you go like this, or like this, wherever your hot spot is, I will see on average 5 to 20 microteslas above 45 to 50. So for example, today I was out working. I went into Costco where I Instacart most of the days. Went in, was getting a little bit of work done because I work there with my other stuff that I do, my coins and currency stuff that I do. Went in and when I looked at it, it was roughly about 70 microteslas total. So I was at the top end of phase three. Yeah, I mean, it gets a little bit more than that, but on average, I'm talking about. So I was at the top end of phase three energy. Now, what that felt like, I knew I was being targeted because my cheeks started getting hot. It feels like if it's going to be a 95-degree day or a 100-degree day, and the sun is out with no cloud cover, that's what it feels like. It feels like your skin is just heating up. It's not burning. It won't burn. It will never burn. But it feels like where you're being targeted is heating up. So I felt flushing and burning, just a general hotness to my face area. And of course, it was 20 microteslas above background. Now, The purpose of that energy level is to just inconvenience you in general. So if somebody wanted to come up and chat with you and engage you in conversation, it would make you a little uneasy. You would feel this general cloudiness, this heat, and you wouldn't be able to function normally. It's not going to retard your neurons from firing appropriately. That's the retard frequency. There is a retard frequency that they can apply over the brain and overlap over your neurons to retard your neurons from firing appropriately, so you feel retarded. That's the the word retarded means literally to slow down. So it slows down your neurons' ability to fire off appropriately. So it retards you. Wasn't that? But yeah, so this video is going to be generally, I'm going to show you something with this red marker. I'm going to draw on myself with this dry erase marker where I'm having issues as far as directed energy and where it's been hit the most. But before I do that, let me get into the usual. Dr. Robert Duncan book, How to Tame a Demon. I'm going to read one or two things of this from you. And while I'm doing this, you can grab these on Amazon for about $46 for both of them. Project Soul Catcher. This one's the more complicated read, but it's good to have. So that way, if you're trying to tell anybody else about this, you can hand them this and say, look, don't believe me, believe him. So what I want to say, the main thing I want to say here in this video is, if you're out there and you're feeling this energy still, you're feeling the directed energy, regardless of what else is going on with you, whether the chatbot's there, whether street theater is there, whether, whatever it is, whatever phase of your targeting you're in as well. If you're in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of the radiation phase, or if you're in the simulation phase. Simulation phase 1 for me was desocialize, isolate mental health. So within that is breaking apart the relationship I was in, having me iterate fake signs and symptoms of mental health illness, and then having you get a couple diagnoses of mental health illness. And then after you get a couple diagnoses and your personal relationship has shattered apart and will never come back together, that is when the computer then moves on automatically to phase 2 of your targeting. And if you're in the process and protocol that I am in, which is called Walk to Death, that means that you will be given a terminal illness of some kind, whether it's heart attack, it's going to work on your heart, weaken your heart, stroke, it's going to weaken the veins throughout your body through directed energy. This is a deteriorating energy that deteriorates any human anatomy that it comes into contact with. And it can attack any part of your body individually. So, heart attack, stroke, and cancer, or so anything else, your lungs, anything. No, I don't want to get into it on a tangent there, but so what I want to say is, if you're feeling this energy equals bad. Okay, so I want you to remember this. Energy equals bad. Anytime you're feeling that, anytime you feel even the tiniest little tap, tap, because they tap, 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 tap. Those little taps are the most minute amount of energy, but it's an additional amount of energy. All they're doing is going energy plus, energy plus over time equals anatomical body deterioration. All right. So let me explain this. Energy equals bad. The energy that you are feeling is not good, it is bad. Then energy in addition, additional energy, the plus here, energy plus, meaning adding energy, adding energy, adding energy, hitting you, hitting you, hitting you, hitting you. Every day they are adding micro Teslas over time. Time is on their side, it's on the computer side. They have all the time in the world. We are limited on time. We have a finite life. So what they're doing is they are speeding up our time. They're fast forwarding our lives by deteriorating our bodies. So body deterioration equals additional energy over time. So the longer the time goes on, the more energy they keep adding into our bodies to deteriorate our bodies and give us heart attack, stroke, cancer, all of these kind of bad things. And I don't think people realize that because they have the ability, this is the scary part, they have the ability to block the pain that energy is imparting upon you. So when it burns you, they can block that right out. And what that is good for their purposes. So just take a screenshot of this, please, and remember this, that every day you feel that energy is a subtraction of the days of your life. They give you money, they let you go back to work, they give you a car, they give you some sort of happiness, even though they won't give you a partner, they won't let you have a partner, they won't give me a girlfriend, they won't allow me to come home from work and get a hug. They won't allow me to take somebody, some female out there that would have the best life she could ever have imagined with somebody like me. And they won't allow me to do that for somebody. And in return, hopefully have that person do that for me. And that's called having a good life. And then at the end of your life, you go, wow, I'm so happy that I found this person. And I've never had that in my life. I've never been lucky enough to have that in my life. And now that I'm the best version of myself, I have this shit going on, and there's a lot of you out there that the same things, man. You're like, how could I ever get with somebody and like be able to do anything? How could I ever have a relationship when this is going on? So just remember this. And so they keep adding the energy, they're adding more problems for you because eventually there's an eventuality to that because it's a known carcinogenic substance. It's a known deteriorating substance, this, call it cellular energy. So if it's going into your body, it's deteriorating your anatomy. I'm just letting you know that because the mental aspect of that is that, oh, well, I don't feel anything. They've done this for decades. They have it pretty well locked in how they do this. They front load the energy in phase one. So phase one is right here. So the majority of phase one is front loading the energy at a high concentrated volume. So that way later on, you're still alive, you're still feeling good, you're still doing this and you're dancing and shit. But they're going to do this. So there's going to be peaks. And then very little peak, very little, and then these peaks are just so they don't have to go on longer time than necessary. It's subtracting time. So you're going to have a day where you're going to go, what? This is bullshit. You're going to be burning. You're going to be hot. Eyes are going to probably be red. Wherever you're getting hit, you're going to go, what the fuck? It hasn't been like this for weeks. That's because it goes around and around and around. And every time it comes to up here, that means it's time to peak. So that way it shortens the amount of overall time until you have a physical manifestation of a terminal illness, meaning heart deterioration, you have lung problems, you have a tumor somewhere. So that way, the more they peak, the less time you have until you find out somehow that you have a problem, a physical medical problem. So there's that. But Because that happens all the time where I'm like, damn, it's one of the peak days. It'll just be one day where it'll hit just a physical part of your body. And then the next time it peaks, it'll hit a different part of your body. So, what I want to say is that since you're sitting there right now going, oh, I don't feel anything. Like, I feel pretty okay. There was a little bit of burning inside of me last night, but I'm okay. Oh, I don't feel anything. You know, the computer can block the pain. So the computer can block the pain. So to have the highest effectability or to be the best version of itself, this computer is what? It is a termination system. It is terminating people's lives. Unfortunately, that's the system that we're in. We're in the termination system. We are in the directed energy imparting a terminal, inconvenient illness on us. So, with that in mind, what is the best version of a termination system? The best version of a termination system is a system that can block the pain from the carcinogenic energy. This is carcinogenic right here. That's the word, carcinogenic. That's why it's in red, which means cancer causing or deteriorating energy that can block the pain from that. So that way, let's see, right here, I'm going to say, so when you have this energy going into you, here's the beginning. Here's one, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so energy is really high here. Let me get another color real quick. So you get a shit ton of energy here. We'll say high energy, high E, high energy. A lot of energy in that phase 1 right here. They're setting the foundation of the cancer or the deteriorating illness in the areas they want to give it to you in. So we'll say a lot. So then phase 2, it goes down a little bit, but it's a long duration, a lot of time. So long time, less concentrated. And so it's a longer time, less concentrated, but still a high volume. Now, what starts to happen, and I'll put this, I guess I'll put it in pink. You may start to have a little bit of tumor formation or physical deterioration in general, right in about this area. So we'll say deterioration, DET. That means physical deterioration starts about here. So you start having the blurred vision, the bloodshot eyes, so you can see physical things happening. Then as the phases go along, you're going to start having, if you're getting cancer, you're going to start having tumor formation. The tumor is going to start hurting. You're going to go, oh, you know. But if it can block the pain from that, the longer it makes you go without seeing a doctor, we'll say, let's say the tumor starts here. We'll say tumor start. So you still wait. This is like from here to here, we'll say it's 2-3 years. We'll say 3 years to here. So you're still getting hit with the energy. We'll say it's the same, you know, less concentrated, high volume. So we'll just do this thing here to refer to this. So it's the same, still less concentrated. They don't want to burn your skin. They don't want to put any more signs and symptoms on the outside of something being weird or wrong or like, what is that? And have people ask questions. They don't want you worrying about it either. They want to keep you busy with going to work. I got a car. I got to pay the bills. So they put the blinders on like this. So over here is problems, cancer, physical deterioration. Over here is cancer, problems, physical deterioration. So if you ever watch a horse race, the horses used to wear blinders so they wouldn't see the other horses and get spooked or like they were just focusing, tunnel vision. Boom, boom. That's what the system does After it hits you in phase one and has you all rattled, calling the ambulance on yourself, you're all fucked up, it lets you go back to work, lets you start having a quasi normal life, and you're going through the same thing. I guarantee you. You got a little bit of money, you're going to work, you got a car, you're putting gas in your car. Oh, a little zap here, a little zap there with some energy. It's not really that bad. That's not that bad. Ooh, let's come on. Little energy. So what? I had blurred vision and my eyes were burnt and my nose was clogged. I still got up. I got off to work. That's because the system itself can give you energy. It can make you excited, emotionally manipulate you to go, oh, I'm going to run off to work. Don't worry about that. And then what happens is you start to form tumors. You start to have heart deterioration and all this shit here. So that way you still keep going because you're like, oh, I'm good. I can still walk. Maybe you have a little problem with your joint, your knee. My knee's a little sore, so I'm having a little problem walking. Maybe your finger joints hurt. A little anatomical deterioration. So you get about here, and then just like my dad's friend, he crapped blood. Like literally, he had bone cancer and he had blood cancer. He had blood and bone cancer and didn't even know it until he defecated blood. And then he ran to the doctor and was like, yo, doc, I shit all this dark brown blood or black blood, this dirty blood from inside of me. It wasn't fresh. It wasn't like he ruptured something from trying to squeeze out some poop or something. No, this was like bad blood, a full toilet of blood. And that's because he was necrotic inside in his gastrointestinal tract. He had necrosis because tumors end up being necrotic. So you have to take out the necrotic tissue with the tumor, but with the necrotic tissue comes weakening of the tissue. And not only is it dead tissue, but it's weak. So where there's a weakness and you force it with musculoskeletal contraction, meaning muscle contraction, you're going to rip that anatomy. So that's what happened. It finally came to a tipping point. If you study dynamical systems, you know about tipping points. It came to a tipping point. And again, to caveat, I taught myself these maths and stuff like that. So now I know I can tell you how the computer system exactly operates. But yeah, it's a waste of a brain, man, but they don't give a fuck. They don't care. You're just another fucking brain. There's somebody else will be born, somebody else will die. They don't give a fuck, man. And that's what makes me sad is that in here was so much potential. I had so much potential. I had so much potential my entire life that I had so much potential my entire life that not only like I think I deserve somebody to be with and like, love, but I had so much potential with intelligence and my ability to learn things and to teach people. And I don't want to teach people this shit. Do you think this is what I wanted to learn and teach people about? Fuck no. You know, you think I wanted a computer system to give me a life to be proud of, only to take it away from me? Fuck no. Dude, I never wanted to learn about this shit. I wanted the computer to do what it did to me, which was give me a life to be proud of. And then give me, like, not give me, but let me go out and find somebody that I could have built a life with. I'm still young, for Christ's sake, and then let me teach my kids. Let me teach everybody about other things, about things that I like to teach about. I don't want to teach about this shit. But anyway, so with my dad's friend, he was down at about here, he had been hit with this energy for a long time. Covert, he never heard a chatbot, never nothing. He's one of these people out there that gets cancer, that is just getting cancer, but fucking got annihilated with this fucking energy. And they're not getting mental health. They're not any of that shit. They're just a regular person that thinks they got cancer. Well, he died in like 2 weeks. He was dead. He got got the cancer. They took him down to Jefferson Hospital. The doctor was like, holy shit, go down to Jefferson. They put him into a medically induced coma. And yeah, he died. They gave him arsenic as a frontline treatment, and it burned up all of his internal organs. So he crapped blood, and then they got him down there, did the test, got him down there. Oh, I'm going to do great. They're going to treat me. They gave him a medically induced coma, and a couple of days later, he was fucking gone because they had to give him so much arsenic for the bone or the blood cancer, whichever one it was, that it burnt the shit out of his entire body and just poisoned him essentially. So he ended up dying. My neighbor back here, Marv, he died. He fucking had cancer 30 or 40 years ago, came up with cancer again, got the treatment, but then it came, oh, Marv, we found it in your spine. It was in his fucking spine. It was everywhere. Then he was dead. My dad got throat cancer, got laryngeal cancer, has a hole in his fucking neck right now. Who knows how long he's going to live. So anyway, to be the best termination system it can be, it blocks the pain so that way you go all the way through as much time as possible without medical intervention. You have no pictures taken, no x-rays, no CT scans, no nothing. You just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going until finally, when something terminal happens or something bad happens, you sneeze blood, you cough blood, you piss blood, you shit blood, blood leaks out of your eyes, or some form of anatomy finally breaks apart because it can't stay together anymore because of the necrosis around the tumor, then you are alarmed enough to run to a hospital. And you go, holy shit. And then they tell you, Jesus Christ, that shit's been there for a long time. What the fuck were you doing? And by that point, you're down here. They treat you a little bit, but the prognosis for whatever cancer you have or whatever anatomical deterioration you have is not good because you went all of this time before you got medical intervention. But that's partially because the system can block the pain. The pain lives in the brain. They can block receptors in the brain, neurons in the brain that are iterated to pain. Because if they can give the pain, meaning if they can light up a nerve cell in your body that relates to a neuron in the brain, could they not also block it? If they can give it, they can block it. So it's the same thing. This energy here is used to treat cancer. They use a similar kind of energy to ablate. It's called microwave ablation. So they overheat cancer. I'm going to write that down for you. It's called ablation. Look it up. I'm not bullshitting you. It's called microwave ablation. They treat cancer with a similar kind of energy. So that's when you feel like, oh, my face is heating up, my head's hot. That's because they're overheating you. That energy is a radiant energy that is a heat energy, like your microwave in your kitchen. So what they do is they target tumors with a microwave type of energy and overheat those cells that the tumor is formed with, and it kills those cells. It's through microwave ablation. They overheat it. So that's it for this video. Just, I'm going to I was going to do something where I was going to color in the spots here. I guess I'll do that now, and then I'll just make a separate tiny video. So I'm going to color in the spots where I've been fucking mangled. So for me, currently, like I said earlier in Costco, my face was being overheated at 70 microteslas. So here on the back side of my ear here, hopefully you can see that. right here around the back here. Why is that part important? So I'll tell you. I'll try to be quick. Why is that part important? Well, because there's connective tissue back there. So see what I'm doing right now? I'm talking. So in order to talk, you have to have the connective tissue here working. In order to chew food, you have to have the connective tissue here working. If you look at a mock-up of the musculoskeletal tissues that operate the lower jaw, they're all right in here, all in this area. So this area here, hopefully the marker is writing, right here, on both sides, here, and the same thing here, on the back here, all under here, and here. So essentially on both sides behind the ears, under the neck, all those lymph nodes have been hit here, and then inside my mouth, my tongue gets hit, and yeah, I believe if to continue real quick, you want to be careful smoking cigarettes, chewing tobacco, or doing any drugs or drinking, because the computer can accentuate or aggravate those activities. Meaning if you're smoking, the computer can radiate your throat, radiate your larynx, radiate your tonsils, radiate the inside of your mouth. And it's not about your teeth. It's not about any of that. That's irrelevant. What it's about is hitting the anatomy that, oh yeah, I got to get that smoking. What that's about is, oh, and I also wanted to do this so you could just see and just stare at the red while I'm standing here talking to you and know that boom, 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 boom. You just look at it and that's what it is. And the inside of my mouth. But smoking and smoking and smoking. Let me get back to this real quick. I guess I'll talk about that. Remember, microwave ablation. They can block the pain. And the longer you don't feel the pain, as long as you're feeling that energy, the higher the probability that when you first go to the doctor, when you have an actual problem that you feel, you will be in a greater amount of problem. So be aware of that. So get to the doctor and get preventative checkups for all of the areas that you feel the energy hitting. I ran into a guy, like I said, my dad had laryngeal cancer, has laryngeal cancer. Hopefully it's gone. He's radiation. What they got him to do, I'll continue this video. What they got him to do, he was a cigarette smoker. Let me use black here. My dad was always a cigarette smoker. My dad's a covert target. He doesn't hear the chatterbot. He doesn't even want to hear me tell him about the bots and the fucking program, so I don't. So he was a cigarette smoker. For 40 plus years. So 40 plus years, my dad was a cigarette smoker. I'm going to say my dad. I just want to show you what this fucking system does. His name's Anthony. So this system, since this is going to be about anatomical deterioration and the energy and how it kills you, what they did to my dad, so he's a cigarette smoker, right? Puffing and puffing and puffing and puffing. And whether he was made to continue the smoking or not because of the system, irrelevant. He smoked Marlboros. Marlboro Reds. So, yeah, just a regular cigarette. Whether it's full flavored or not, it doesn't fucking matter. Ultralight doesn't matter. That's only the taste of the smoke. You're still getting the same amount of fucking nicotine and tar and all that dumb shit. And just because you smoke doesn't mean you're going to get cancer. There's people that smoked that don't get cancer, and there's people that get cancer that never fucking smoked. So, like, lung cancer and all this shit that you would expect somebody who's a smoker to get. So it's all bullshit. None of it actually makes any sense. It's just however the fuck it happens, whether it's a system or randomness. So he smoked Marlboro Reds or some form of like full flavored cigarette for the longest time. Then all of a sudden, he fucking started smoking Newports out of nowhere. Who the fuck knows why? Then it's irrelevant with the Newports, the regular cigarette. He started smoking something called Cheyennes for the past few years, I want to say. This is the part that the system had him do. So, system initiated. Shy. I think that's how you spell it. Cheyenne. It's a little cigar, they're called, but it looks like a cigarette. So it's a cigar that looks like a cigarette. It has a cigarette filter, cigarette paper, comes in a pack of 20, and they're like less than $2 a pack. So the system initiated this, the smoking of Cheyennes, the cigar that looks like a cigarette, in part to give in the real world, irrelevant because he smoked for 40 years. This was just icing on the cake here. That in the real world, smoking those things and inhaling that shit is like fucking horrendous for you. And it has higher incidences of laryngeal cancer like he got. He has no voice. He has a hole in his neck and he has to write on a little pad thing. So what the computer did was it initiated this several years before the manifestation of the cancer. So that way he could, on the outside in our world, irradiate himself with this shit while the computer was irradiating him with this shit here, the radiation cancer ablation energy. So that way you have a plus plus. The system is doing it, and then he's doing it with the smoking of the Cheyennes, the cigar that you're not supposed to inhale. And then it's more plausible when he goes to the doctor after he's like, doc, I got this like sore throat that'll never go away. What's going on, doc? What is this? And then they go, well, what are you doing? Are you smoking? He's like, yeah, I'm smoking. I've been smoking since the 1970s. What is it, doc? He's like, well, what are you smoking now? He's like, oh, I'm smoking these. And he pulls out a pack of Cheyennes. And you're like, holy shit. The fuck? You're not supposed to inhale those things and smoke them like cigarettes. So he ends up getting laryngeal cancer, big tumor in his fucking larynx, and he has to have his larynx removed. You know, there's only 13,000 cases of laryngeal cancer a year in this country. And I bumped into 3. Since my dad got this cancer in January, just since fucking January, there's been him. So this is what the system will do to you. If you're not a target that knows about the system, what the fuck is going on, you'll be blacked out and smoking Cheyennes till you get fucking laryngeal cancer. What happened was, I'm going to erase this. Remember, my dad, 40 years, Reds, the Cheyennes, only to finish him off when they were getting ready to irradiate him to the point of laryngeal cancer. All right. So now I bump into a guy. I do Instacart for a living. This is fucking crazy. I bump into a guy at Costco. Costco guy, we'll call him, has a fucking Larry tube. It's called a Larry tube when you have a hole in your neck. And I go, holy shit. You have a Larry tube? And he's like, yeah. I said, my dad just got a Larry tube. Oh, yeah. And this dude still had a voice. He had a partial laryngectomy, meaning they only removed part of his larynx. He caught it early stages. So Costco guy with a Larry tube, laryngeal cancer. That's person number 2. Now, Instacart delivery lady. How the fuck is it that if there's only 13,000 cases a year, I bump into fucking 3 people in a couple of months? Insta. So there's an Instacart delivery I have the other day, and lady's like, "Oh, my husband has cancer. I have cancer." She said she has cancer. And then I said, "Holy shit, my dad just had laryngeal cancer. He's getting radiation." She said, "Whoa, laryngeal cancer?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, my sister has laryngeal cancer. She's getting she's getting chemotherapy and radiation." And I said, "Nah, really? She has larynx cancer." Yup, she has larynx cancer. I'm not shitting you, man. So again, her sister is in the early phases of trying to get that treated, but probably she's going to have part of her larynx removed. So that's 3 people for a cancer that is super fucking rare at 13,000 people for 300 million people that I just happened to bump into on my own, you know? So I don't know if the other people were hit with the fucking energy, but I know he was. And then the whole thing, and then one more person. I had another delivery to another guy. He was smoking a cigarette when I rolled up. I pulled up and I'm grabbing the stuff, and I seen him out there. He was smoking a cigarette, I could see. And then he comes up and he's like, "Oh, I don't know if I can grab that," because I had a big box of heavy shit. He's like, I don't know if I can grab that. He said, "I have cancer." I said, "Holy fuck, with the cancer again." He said, "I have cancer." I said, "Oh man, that sucks." And I go in with the thing, my dad, the Larry tube, the fucking laryngeal cancer. I said, "Holy shit, really?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "My cancer was oral cancer." Like, he had a lump right here that was like, he thought it was like an abscess tooth. And then he had his tonsil, he said, was like sore. And he went to Florida. I guess he has a vacation house in Florida. He was down there for a little bit. Comes back. Well, he went to the dentist up here, or the doctor, and they like gave him some steroids or like, some antibiotics or whatever. He went down, came back. He said the thing was fucking blown the fuck up in like a month. Like, it was massive. So he runs to the doctor, and the doctor is like a person that frequents his business. And he was like, "Holy shit, dude, this may be cancer." So they do a biopsy and they go, "Yeah, dude, this is bone cancer." It had spread to the bone of his lower jaw, and they couldn't remove the jaw, so they had to do like chemo and radiation because there was no way to resect the part of the bone that was infected with the tumor, with the cancer. So thankfully, one of his people at his business was a doctor. They went to Penn. They had this big like meeting with all of these doctors, and they were like, "Yeah, dude, there's nothing we can do as far as removing it." So he was like, "Fucking, shit is crazy. Like, I can't even tell you how crazy this shit is. I'd never heard of a fucking Cheyenne in my life until this shit." So, why would you make a cigar like a cigarette? Fucking shit is crazy. But anyway, so the dude is like, I'm like, "Well, why are you smoking, dude?" He's like, "It's in remission. Like, allegedly they got it. He had to have radiation in his mouth. He has a feeding tube in his fucking stomach because he has to pump food. He had to pump food into his stomach directly from here because he couldn't fucking swallow food because the radiation is obviously burns you, like this fucking radiation burns your mouth." And he was like, I said, "Yeah, man, my dad was smoking those Cheyennes." He's like, "Oh, I only have like 3 cigarettes a day." First, back to that real quick. I'm like, "Why are you smoking, dude? Like, what the fuck? Does it do anything for you?" And he's like, "No, like, it doesn't do anything for me. Like, nothing, you know?" And then I'm like, "Why are you even smoking 3 cigarettes a day? Dude, you just beat fucking oral and tonsil cancer." Like, so it makes you think there's a fucking computer that fucking is fucking got his brain too, telling him to smoke cigarettes and just smoke a couple cigarettes, it won't hurt you. So he's there puffing cigarettes with fucking oral cancer. Like, what the fuck? My dad hasn't smoked any cigarettes, thankfully, but makes you think. And then on top of that, I said he was smoking these little cigars, these Cheyennes, and fucking, and this dude was like, oh, I got a pack of Cheyennes in the house. What? Why the fuck do you need a pack of Cheyennes with the pack of cigarettes? Like, what the fuck? I've never heard of a Cheyenne until now. All of a sudden, Cheyennes are everywhere. So what type of fucking randomness, probability, and statistics is it that I would bump into another dude with some form of oral and otolaryngological cancer, an oral cancer, that's smoking Cheyennes? And he's like, oh yeah, I don't inhale them though. And I'm like, dude, you're smoking regular cigarettes, you're smoking Cheyennes, and you just beat cancer. Like, what the fuck? What? And the cigarettes don't do nothing for you. So his response was, I'm like, well, what are you going to do? I mean, I can't fucking, I'm not his fucking wife. But I was concerned for the guy. I'm a regular human that has concern for other people. And he was like, I'm going to go down to Penn. They have a guy, a cessation specialist that works with people that smoke. I'm like, but you just told me this shit don't do nothing for you. You quit for 10 years. Jesus Christ, he did quit for 10 years. Computers reminded me about that. That he quit for 10 years. So that's it. Just be careful. You know, here's me. Yeah, and wanted to show you that. That's not the only spot. Top of my feet get hit all the time. You know, here's my hot spots, we'll call them. All I'm saying is be careful. If you're being hit with the radiation, with the directed energy, that is to harm you. That's harming you. It's not good. So don't get it in your mind that I'm being continually hit with energy that's not doing anything, because that's what it wants you to do. Put the blinders on. Don't worry about the energy. Don't worry about the cancer over here. Don't worry about the energy. Don't worry about the cancer, the heart attack, the stroke over here. You can't see that. And they dangle a car, a little bit of money, a job, regular life. You know, it's not regular life because, as you can see, my girlfriend's not yelling at me right now, or my wife is not yelling at me right now to come in the house so we can watch a movie or have sex or do something crazy like that, right? You can see I don't have a person here with me. You know, that's a part of it, is desocializing you. It's a part of the torture. But just be careful. I'm just telling you, yo. If you feel it, you're an overt target, you know what's going on. There is going to be a day when your tipping point tips and it's no longer okay. When you're going to get that news, you're going to hear that voice saying, we're sorry, but you have a problem. And it's not going to be something you can just walk away from. Other people like to say, attempt this and do that and this and that. And they like to feel like, oh, it's not doing anything. I'm okay. Get the fuck out of here. The shit's doing something, or else they wouldn't do it. That is completely defeating the purpose. Why would they send the energy if it wasn't doing anything? I mean, Jesus Christ, it's fucking common sense. So here's my hot spots, we'll call them. Boom. Top of feet. So for some reason, it likes to hit the top of my feet. Yeah, like right on the metatarsals there. So the top of my feet, the inside, inside of my mouth / tongue, hits my tongue, hits the inside of my mouth and throat. So the throat, which encompasses, all of it. So it's the back of the throat. It's in here, the lymph nodes, inside and out, the tongue, all of that stuff. Let's see. It hit the lungs a long time ago. And then just generally all over the place, the joints, my hands, hit my finger joints every now and then. So we'll just say joints. And just generally everywhere, you'll feel everywhere where you get like a little dot. Doop, 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 doop. Just a little touch. Just a little touch. Boom, boom. So now, if obviously common sense, I don't want to journal anymore. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. So now common sense is that if you feel that here, that little touch, we are lucky enough to know what is going on. So you're given an opportunity to at least help yourself out a little bit by preemptively going and telling the doctor. But don't just tell the doctor. Bring a book, bring a reference thing with you, and make a video before you go. Record a video like I'm doing now before you go to the doctor, so that way when you get to the doctor, you can just play the video for them. And then when they say, make sure you reiterate to the doctor, please, I'm not asking you to stop what is happening to me. I'm only asking you to have compassion and be understanding. And I have a reference book or two for you because I want you to be my clinician that helps me through this. And whatever that through this is, whether that's through the illness, whether that's through the treatment, whether that's through this to the end till you expire, whatever it is. But just ask them to just be compassionate and be a doctor instead of being a subjective person that's like, ooh, you're stupid. Like, you're retarded. Something's wrong with you. There's something, you're nuts. You're seeing things and hearing things, because doctors will do that. And then just pray that the computer doesn't jump into their neurology and start fucking with you, and that it lets you get treatment. It lets you, have some sort of peace. But you don't want to have the doctor think that you're yelling and screaming at them and telling them, you have to do this. You have to help me. You have to make it stop. There is 100% of no way they can make it stop. They don't have access to the computer that's doing it to you. So the best thing you can do for yourself and for them is to hand them these books as a reference tool for your continued engagement with them, appointment after appointment. The worst thing you could possibly do is go into that appointment unprepared and just start yelling at them about neural monitoring, directed energy, the military, the government, they're doing this to me, the satellite dishes, the voices. You don't want to say anything about voices or chatbots or anything. That's irrelevant to your physical deterioration. You have to keep it to the physical deterioration. Don't say anything about anything to do with the military or the government. You don't know who it is. You don't know what they're doing, except for that it's directed energy and it's harming you. You don't want to start saying specifics because they'll go, well, you're nuts. Just hand them the 2 books and you say, these are reference tools for you to learn for our upcoming appointment. I want to make a follow-up appointment with you. I want you to help me with my physical problems. Or if you have to go to a specialist, make an appointment for the specialist, but make sure you buy 2 books for them too. Hand them the books and say, look, I don't expect you to listen to me and believe me right now. That would be crazy. I'm laying something on you that you have never even heard about. I want you to take these books with my compliments, and I want you to read through them. And I want you to try to understand this. This is what is happening to me, but not only me. Look on the internet and look up Havana syndrome, look up directed energy, look up all that stuff, and then inform yourself. And then you will be doing yourself a big favor, because you won't have a doctor who does not want to hear you because they think you're nuts. You have showed them reference materials with a person they can look up to see their credentials and go, wow, that's something. Somebody with better credentials than I have is saying this stuff because you don't have any credentials. You don't have a security clearance. You never had credentials. So you yelling and screaming about the military and you know who's doing this and it's whatever it is, doesn't mean shit. They're just going to look at you and say, maybe go through your history and see psych, and they'll go, oh, this must be a flare up of psych. Well, we're going to refer you to psych. Then you won't even get the referral to the specialist that you need to go see for what's going on. So that's it. I'm going to go eat some chicken nuggets that I just made. Hope you guys have a good night. I hope whoever watches this, if you watch this all the way to the end, you know how much that means to me. It means a lot to me because I feel alone. I feel sad. And I don't say that a lot. I think it's a lot of the times that I feel like this is because I feel like I have a lot to give. I feel like my life only just began. And, I have to pretend a lot during the day. And I get tired of pretending that I have to say, oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. Knowing that that person that asked me how I was doing really means to find out how I'm doing, but I can't be truthful with them. And I have to, in my head, know that that person is going to go on with their life and they're going to be fine. And they're going to raise their kids. How, if they have kids that are young, they're going to do whatever they do. And no matter how much they may like me, love me, or regard me in some way, that once I'm gone, and they're going to move on with their lives. They're going to go on with their lives. But I have to continue to lie to these people and say, oh, I'm fine, like we all have to do. And it really gets tiring and it makes me sad because I just wanted an opportunity. Since I'm somebody I never was before in my life, maybe back when I was like 14, 15 and shit like that, somebody I haven't been for a long time, is the best version of myself. And it'll be the shortest version of myself because unfortunately in the paradox, and this is what it is, I'm going to make videos about each one of these things that I've been talking about in this video. I live in a paradox here where my targeted paradox so a paradox is like, it's called the Penrose staircase. If you look up the Penrose staircase, that's a paradox. It's when there's a set of stairs that goes up like this, stairs, but then it comes back around like this, comes down, and then the stairs connect over this way. And you just go up and around, and it comes back down like this, goes up, and you come back down and go over, come back down. It's called the Penrose staircase. So you just keep going around. Once you go up, when you come back to the floor here, it brings you back down. You go over, up, over, down. So my targeted paradox is the system saved my life. Yes, the system that is harming my physical body, that is hurting people that I love and hurting other people, saved my life by desocializing me, by breaking apart my relationship that I had, by doing all of these pre-programmed things in the protocol that I'm in. It saved my life. But within the pre-programmed protocol steps are the steps to my death. So it saved my life, but is still ending my life. So as you can see, there's the Penrose staircase. I go up, system saved my life. When it first started targeting me, my life sucked. I was in a repetitive cycle of doing nothing with my life, in a horrible relationship with somebody I didn't give a fuck about, didn't want to be with, hated my life.